African fashion isn't just clothing, it is a celebration of identity, a dance of tradition, and an embrace of individuality. Hello viewers, I'm Ceji'S. Welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S, the African fashion world, a world of diverse colors, rich texture, and captivating stories. Each stitch tells a tale of heritage, a celebration of diversity, and a nod to the modern. From the sweeping landscape to the rhythmic beat, the African fashion reflects the soul of a continent. Let the runway be your passport to a tapestry of elegance and authenticity.
Join me on this sectarian journey that transcends beyond others and unites us in the universal language of style. Once again, welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S.
Welcome back. Like I said earlier, for you to make an Ankara purse, you have to ensure that all your materials are available. And the materials needed to make an Ankara purse are your fiber. This is the fiber. I've already done all my cutting, so I'm going to explain how I did my cuttings as we proceed with the class. So this is the fiber, and then you also need your lining. This is the lining. You need your pen or your tailor's chalk. You need your ruler. You also need your leather. You need your scissors. You need your tape, your measurement tape. This is the piercer. You need your piercer. You also need your hammer. You need your back chain. We are going to use this chain for the purse, so your purse chain. You also need your Ankara fabric. You need your gum. If you've been following ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S, we always make use of an empty machine or air container. We turn our gum into an empty machine or air container. We do that because we want our work to be very, very professional. So this serves as our gum brush. You also need your glue. You need your magnet hook. This is the magnet hook for your purse. You need your chain hook. This is the chain hook. And you also need your rivets. So once you go to bag making material shop, you ask for rivets, they will give you. So this is the rivets.
African fashion isn't just clothing, it is a celebration of identity, a dance of tradition, and an embrace of individuality. Hello viewers, I'm Ceji'S. Welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S, the African fashion world, a world of diverse colors, rich texture, and captivating stories. Each stitch tells a tale of heritage, a celebration of diversity, and a nod to the modern. From the sweeping landscape to the rhythmic beat, the African fashion reflects the soul of a continent. Let the runway be your passport to a tapestry of elegance and authenticity.
Join me on this sectarian journey that transcends beyond others and unites us in the universal language of style. Once again, welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S.
I've already done all my cutting, so I'm going to quickly explain how I did the cutting for you. Firstly, you bring out your fiber. This is the fiber, and then you cut the width to be 7 inches. The width to be 7 inches. That's from this point to this point is 7 inches. Then the length, I cut the length to be 21 inches. So that's because I want to make a very small purse. You can decide to make a bigger one. Maybe you want to make the one that is bigger than this. You can decide to use 13 of the purse and then maybe 22 as the length of the purse. So, but the standard measurement for the length of the purse is 22 inches. But because I want my purse to be very, very small, I had to cut the width to be very small. So I had to cut the width to be 7 inches, while the length is 21 inches. And also, my leather, as you can see, the width of my leather is the same thing as the width of my fiber. So the width of this leather is 7 inches, while the length of this leather is ½ inch longer than the length of the fiber. So remember, we cut the length of this fiber to be 21 inches. and then we cut the length of the leather to be 21.5 inches. So the leather is ½ inch longer than the fiber. You have to fold your fiber to your desired shape. So this is how I want my purse to be. This is the shape I want my purse to be. So I'll fold my shape. Now, if I want to add design, maybe if I want the flap, this flap of my purse. If I want the flap to have a design, like I want to design it, this is what I'll do. After folding it to my desired shape, this is the desired shape I want. Now, the next thing I'll do is I'm just going to fold this flap into 2 equal halves, just like this. Then I'll bring out my tailor's chalk or my pen. Let me use my tailor's chalk. Then I'm going to just mark a slanted 2. You can see a slanted 2. I say slanted 2 because look at it. This is what I. So I have to make sure that I align these 2 edges properly so that everything will fit in properly. You can see this is it. I marked a slanted 2. So from that point that I marked, I'm just going to bring out my scissors, then I'll cut it off like this, following the line that I marked. So I'll ensure my cutting is straight so that it won't give my flap a falling look. So this is how it looks. You can see this is how the flap looks now. So I'm just going to fold it back to my desired shape. You can see this is what we have now. So this is beautiful. You know, the purse has the front, the back, and then the flap. It doesn't have bottom, unlike handbag. So what we're going to do now is we want to create the side of the purse. And to do that, you bring out your fiber, you place it on a flat surface. After placing it on a flat surface, then you bring this part of the fiber that we just folded to our desired shape. You open it up on the fiber just like this. And then you bring out your pen or your tailor's chalk. Then you mark round it like this. You ensure that you open that side of the purse. So you mark it round, starting from the beginning of this part of the purse. Then once you mark it round, you remove this part that we use as our pattern. Then you bring out your ruler. Then you just rule a straight line to connect this point now to this other point. So you ensure that you do your marking. Ensure that your marking is very accurate. My pen is not very effective. So once you're done doing that, the next thing you do is you bring out your scissors and then you cut it off. Following the shape that you just marked, you just cut it off.
Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of me. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good.
Okay, once you're done cutting one side of the purse, you know, this is the side of the purse that we just created. So you use this one to trace for the second side. Remember, the purse has 2 sides. Purse has 2 sides. So we are just using this first pattern that we just created to cut out for the second side. So everything is the same. Everything is meant to be the same.
Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of me. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope, Cratf with a tapestry, connect us around the globe. African roots, along with this place.
So once you're done doing cutting, you can see this is what we have. This is side 1 and side 2. So they are the same thing. So now, remember this is how we folded our purse. This particular purse that I want to make, I want it to have design. I want it to have a mixture of the leather. So remember, this leather part has to be the same thing with this. I'm going to put this fiber now on this leather. Remember, they are same measurement, just the length that of the leather that is ½ inch longer than this fiber. So I'm going to place this fiber on the leather. Then I will mark out the flap. I just want the flap to have the same shape with what we have on our fiber. So you can see I'm going to cut the edge out so that it will have the same shape. So you can see we now have this shape. So this is perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to design this leather now. Remember, this is going to be the body of our purse. So I don't want to just use a plain leather. So I want to design it with my Ankara fabric. I can decide to use my Ankara fabric to cover up the whole of this leather. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I want this bag to be designed with a mixture of leather. So now to do that, remember the width of this leather is 7 inches. Now I want to mark out 2 inches from this angle, and then I'll come from this angle and mark out 2 inches as well. So I'm just going to mark out 2 inches from this angle and also 2 inches from this angle. So I ensure that my marking is very straight. So I will use my chalk so that you see everything clearly.
Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope. Drive with a tapestry, connect us around the globe. African roots, along with display. Inspiration in each day.
So use my ruler to connect the lines.
Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, vital culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of queens.
So I also mark 2 inches from this other angle.
Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Shining bright every day. Dress with pride, vital culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of queens. From the Sahara.
Now I will also use my ruler to connect the lines.
Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, vital culture sing. Ceji'S fashion.
Now the next thing I will do is I'm going to quickly cut out my Ankara fabric. Maybe just show you what I want to do. Remember, I'm not measuring anything, so I'm going to explain how I'm doing this to you.
King of queens to the Cape of Good Hope. Drive Weave with a tapestry, connect us around the globe. African roots, around with display, inspiration in each day. Ceji'S, the reading of
So
the
now,
way.
I just cut out a little piece of the Ankara fabric. Next thing I will do now is I'll bring out my gum. Then let me check. I'll first of all check if this will be able to go or fit in here. This is enough. So firstly, I'm going to place this Ankara fabric on that, from that line that I marked. So I'll ensure that it's able to cover up that leather. I will explain better as we proceed with the class. So I just cut off the excess fabric after I was sure that it will be able to go around what I want to do. I'm going to use this Ankara fabric to cover up this part of the leather, and then I'll do the same thing on this part. And to do that, I'll quickly apply my gum on the rough side of the edge of this fabric. You see my gum is sticky, so I'll open it up with my piercer.
Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, vital culture sing. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, vital culture sing. In Ceji'S fashion, you're
So ensure that you close your gum properly so that air will not get into it and spoil it.
Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, metal culture sing. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. Step into the African style.
Once I'm done applying the gum on the edge, I'll quickly fold that part. So I'm folding this edge. So I'm folding it. So I've already successfully folded this edge. So now the next thing I'll do is I'll bring out this leather. Let me just do for the both sides. So before I bring out the leather, I'll bring out the other part of the Ankara that we just that we created. So I'm just looking at where is the right and the wrong side. So this is it. On the edge, just like this. Then I'll quickly fold the edge. Quickly fold the edge, then I'll keep this aside. Then I'll bring out my leather, the one that we just marked tailor's chalk on. Then I'll apply my gum from this line where our 2 inches measurement started from. I'll apply my gum from this line. Let me use from this line that we marked down to all these parts. So I'll make sure I spread my gum on all over this part. So I'll make sure that I don't extend my gum into this middle part of the leather. So I'm applying it carefully so that the gum will not cross the line that we marked. So I'll make sure that I spread my gum all over that part.
Display, inspiration in each day. Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, vital culture sing. In Ceji'S fashion,
Now, we'll also do the same thing on this other part, so we'll apply our gum as well.
you're a king
this particular purse that we are making is handmade, purely handmade. So you don't need a sewing machine to make this particular purse. If you still want to use your sewing machine, you can, but without the sewing machine, you can also produce the purse.
African fashion isn't just clothing, it is a celebration of identity, a dance of tradition, and an embrace of individuality. Hello viewers, I'm Ceji'S. Welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S, the African fashion world, a world of diverse colors, rich texture, and captivating stories. Each stitch tells a tale of heritage, a celebration of diversity, and a nod to the modern. From the sweeping landscape to the rhythmic beat, the African fashion reflects the soul of a continent. Let the runway be your passport to a tapestry of elegance and authenticity.
Join me on this sectarian journey that transcends beyond borders and unites us in the universal language of style. Once again, welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S.
Now our gum is dry. So the next thing we do is we're going to gum this, pick up one of this fabric. Remember, this is the edge that we folded. So I'm going to place this on this leather this way. I'll make sure that this edge aligns on this line that we marked. So I'm gumming it straight on that line that we marked. So once I'm done doing that, I'll use my hands to dress it this way. Then I'll do the same thing on this other part as well. Remember, this is the edge that we fold. I'll gum it on the line. So you can see this is how it looks. So the next thing we'll do is we are going to turn it this way. This is how it looks. So I'm going to fold this excess fabric to the leather that is inside. So, and to do that, we are going to cut out the excess fabric. We're not cutting out everything. We leave like 1.5 inch all around for your folding. Now this is how it is. Remember, if you fold this part like this, it's not going to lap properly. So you use your scissors to notch this part since we curved the flap, so that by the time you want to fold this side, it will lap properly and then stay in place. So the next thing we're going to do is apply your gum. Remember, because we want to fold this excess fabric to it, you apply your gum to the edge. Now, once you're done doing that, you allow your gum to dry before you do all your folding. But because the gum I'm using is a very strong gum, I don't need to wait for it to dry because it's very strong. It's going to glue it perfectly. So, as you can see, we are gumming this excess fabric now to our leather. Ensure that you gum it properly so that everything will lap.
Dress with pride, let your culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope, Cratf with a tapestry, connect us around the globe. African roots, along with display, inspiration in each day. Ceji'S, the reading of the
Now you can see we've successfully gummed the excess fabric to it. So this is how it looks. This is how the front view looks, and this is how the back view looks. So if you have your machine, you can take it to your machine and sew around on this edge down. Maybe you can sew on this edge down, on this edge down, then you sew all around this edge. But if you don't have your sewing machine, there's no problem at all. You're going to work with just our gum. So this is very, very beautiful. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll keep this aside. Then we are going to cover the inside of our purse with our lining. So the purse is meant to be like this, and this is meant to be the inside of this purse. So we're going to cover it with our lining. And to do that, we'll bring out our lining, and then we'll place our lining on a flat surface. After placing it on a flat surface, you will place our fiber that we just cut out on it. Then you cut the lining, leaving excesses all around for your folding. Now, once you're done doing that, you fold your lining, and then you keep it aside. Fold it and keep it aside. Now, remember we curve this edge, so you're just going to curve it this way as well. Then you notch here so that by the time you do your folding, it will stay in place. So the next thing we'll do is we apply our gum, and then we'll gum this lining to this fiber. You can see what I'm doing. This is how you do your folding, so that everything will lap and stay in place. So allow your gum to dry before you do your gumming. But because this particular gum I'm using is a very strong gum, I'm gumming it immediately into gum.
Dress with pride, let your culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope, Cratf with a tapestry, connect us around the globe. African roots, along with display, inspiration in each day. Ceji'S, the reading of the
So you can see we're done covering the inside of our purse. This is how the back view looks, and this is how the front view looks. So by the time we fold our purse like this, you can see we successfully covered the inside So that's how to cover the inside of your purse. And the next thing is we'll bring out this, remember we cut out the sides of the purse. This is going to be the side of our purse. And then the next thing we want to do now is sides of our purse with our fabric, our Ankara material. So you bring out your Ankara material, you place it on a flat surface. Now this is how you do. You place this part of the side of the purse on it like this, leaving excesses all around. Then you cut out the fabric. Remember, there's an excess fabric all around this area. So you fold it this way to be sure that the fabric covers the whole of the fiber that we cut out. As you can see, this is what we have. So when you open it up, you can see that this fabric now is covering the whole of this fiber that is inside. So you do the same thing on this other part. Once you're done doing this, cutting it out, you fold your excess fabric and then you keep it aside. Now the next thing we want to do is we are going to be gumming our fabric. We are going to be gumming this fabric to the leather that is inside. And then to do that, you open it up and apply our gum all over the surface of this fiber, just like this. Then once you're done doing that, you gum it to the fabric. You may ensure that all your gumming is done on the wrong side of the fabric. So you can see this is the right side of my fabric and this is the wrong side of my fabric. So I'm doing all my gumming on the wrong side of my fabric. So I've successfully gummed this to it, and then I'll also apply my gum all over this other surface. Then this time around, once I'm done applying my gum all over this surface, I will ensure that I also apply my gum on this excess fabric, so that by the time we cover this part up, everything is going to gum and lap properly. You can see this is how to gum it. Then once you're done gumming it, you use your hands to dress it and ensure that everything laps properly. So once you're done doing that, you keep this aside and repeat the same step on this other part.
In every stitch is found. Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, light of culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope, drive with a tapestry, connect us around the globe. African roots, along with display, inspiration in each day.
So as you can see, we've successfully covered these sides of our purse. Before we fix the side of the purse to this part, we are going to bring out our magnet hook. This is the magnet hook of our purse. It has two sides. So this will bring out this flat side of the magnet hook, and then we'll place it. We are going to fix this to the flap of our purse. Remember, this is the flap of our purse. So we'll use this flat side of the magnet hook and fix it to the center of the flap of our purse. So you have to check where is the center of our purse, just at the edge. Then firstly, I'm going to press it on it. Then I'll use my piercer to pierce through the hole that it just created. So I will just, now you can see this is how it looks. So this part now that came out this way, I'm going to maybe just place something, my fabric, under it like this. Then I will heat it to flatten it so that it won't pull out. So this is how it looks. This is how it looks, and this is how this part looks. So we successfully fixed that. So we are not going to fix this other part now. We'll do that at the end of the production of this purse. So the next thing we want to do now is to fix our purse, the side of the purse to the purse. So we'll fix the side. And to do that, we'll quickly apply our gum from, remember the flap of our purse started from this angle. So as we've already started from this angle now. So we open up this part. Then from this angle, I apply my gum all over this edge now, down. Then from this angle, I apply my gum all over this edge, down.
Every stitch a heritage is found. Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture sing. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of queens. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope.
After applying our gum, we are going to keep this aside for it to dry. And while we are waiting for it to dry, we'll bring out the side of our purse. Remember, this purse is going to have a chain. And to do that, we are going to attach the hook, the chain hook, to the side of our purse. So we'll bring out our chain hook, and then also our rivets. This is the rivet. So we'll just pierce the center of this part, the center of this side of our purse, the edge of the side of the purse. Then we connect our rivet this way. You can see it's reflecting on this part. So after connecting it this way, you can see this how it looks. This is the back inner part, and this is how it looks. So you're going to bring out the hook of your chain, the chain hook, and then you connect the hole on the hook through this rivet that you just fixed on it. Then use the cover to cover it up. Then you bring out maybe a fabric or something, then you put it on a flat surface, then you place it on it and hit it with your hammer. Hit it to be very strong. So you can see this is how it looks. This is how it looks. You do the same thing on this other part.
That the story so profound. In every stitch a heritage is found. Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture sing. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of queens. From the Sahara breeze to the Cape of Good Hope.
Now you can see we've successfully fixed the hook of our chain to the side of our pores. So the next thing we'll do is, this other part now is meant to be the inner side, and then this part that the hook is reflecting is meant to be the outer part of it. So the next thing we do is, this inner part now, we'll just apply our gum all around the excess fabric that we have
Out of
here.
Africa, where fashion comes alive, Ceji'S bring the style, let the spirit thrive. From violent prince and part.
Remember, we are not applying the gum on the marker that is inside. We are just applying on the excess fabric. So we are following the shape of the marker that is inside. I'm done applying my gum on this one, so I'll keep it aside and repeat the same step on this other part.
Africa elegance in every design. Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day.
So as you can see, we are done applying our gum to it. The next thing is for us to fix the side of our paws to the paws. And to do that, you just bring out one of the sides of our paws. Then you gum this part, this excess fabric, to this edge of the fiber that we just created, just like this. You use your hand to align, to dress it properly. So ensure that you follow the shape of the fiber that is inside. So this is what we have. Use your hands to dress it. Now, once you come to this edge, now you can see that the fiber that is inside is a bit longer, so you just open it up and then you trace it out, following that shape now. Open it up and then you just trace it out. So, I've done that. We successfully fixed this side. So we'll repeat the same step on this other part.
And so divine. Africa elegance in every design. Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture see. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king of queens. Gold color dance, like a sunset embrace. Ceji'S fashion, a symbol of grace. Dress that the story so profound. And every stitch a heritage.
As you can see, we've successfully covered this side, the sides of our paws. And then we can't just leave it this way. You can see if we want to close it, it won't be able to close properly. So the next thing you do is you just hold the two sides of the paws with your hand like this. Then you use this your finger, and then you place it at the center of the side of the paws, just like this. Then you press it in. You press it in, make sure that everything aligns properly. And then you close it this way. You can see this is how to create the shape of the paws. So this is how it is. Now if we want to close the paws, it will close properly, unlike before. So this is how the side looks. Now the next thing we are going to do is, we are going to be covering the body of our paws with this part of the leather that we just that we created. So, and to do that, we are going to apply our gum all around this rough part of, remember this is the leather that we designed. So we apply our gum all around the surface of this part of the leather. We apply our gum all around the surface of this part of the leather.
And so divine. Africa elegance in every design. Ceji'S, the reading of the runway. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture see. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. Gold color dance, like a every stitch our heritage is found. Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture see. Ceji'S fashion.
As you can see, we are done doing that. So we're going to keep this aside for it to dry. And while we're waiting for it to dry, we'll bring out this part and then we'll also apply our gum all over. Maybe we'll start from this part now. We apply our gum all over this. So while applying your gum, you ensure that you apply your gum on the edge properly so that by the time you gum this part to it, it's going to close up properly.
Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture see. Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. Bold color dance, like a sunset embrace. Ceji'S fashion, a symbol of grace. Dress that the story so profound. In every stitch our heritage is found. Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S.
Now, when you do that, you allow your gum to dry. Then you do your gumming. Like I said earlier, I'm working with a very strong gum, so I'm just going to gum everything really good. So everything aligns properly.
Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture see. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. Bold color dance, like a sunset embrace. Ceji'S fashion, a symbol of grace. Dress that the story so profound. In every stitch I have.
So once I get to where my gum stopped, I'm just going to continue applying my gum. Then I'll gum this part to it like this. Ensure that you use your hand to set it properly so that everything aligns properly, so that your purse will not have a funny shape. So once you're done doing that, use your hands to dress it.
Ceji'S, the reading of the wrong way. Ceji'S, shining bright every day. Dress with pride, let your culture see. In Ceji'S fashion, you're a king or queen. Bold color dance, like a sunset embrace. Ceji'S fashion, a symbol of grace. Dress that the story so profound. In every stitch our heritage is found. Ceji'S, the reading of the
Now, as you can see, we're almost done with our purse making. So, I'll ensure that everything aligns properly. You can see this is how it looks. This is how the shape of the purse looks. This is simply beautiful. Remember, we've not fixed the other hook, this other part of the hook to our purse. And to do that, we only fix this other part. So, and to do that, we are just going to fix this hook to this point. Then we'll close it like this. Then we'll press it down. Then when you open it up, you can see there's a hole here. So use your piercer to pierce through that hole that you just created. Then you bring it out You connect it through the hole that just created, and then you place a flat, or you place your fabric on a flat surface, and then use your hammer to hit the hook. To flatten the hook inside. So this is what we have. You can see, strong. So now we can successfully close our purse. This is how it looks. So the next thing we are going to do is to connect our chain to our purse, and we'll be done with our purse making. So if you want to add your design to it, you can decide to add a design to your purse. That's optional. So you bring out your chain, the chain of your bar, of your purse, rather. You open up one side of the chain, then you connect it through this hook that you just fixed on it. Then you press it. So we've already successfully fixed this part of the chain. We repeat the same step on this other part. As you can see, this is really, really beautiful. This is amazing. You can see this is the inside of the purse. It's amazing. It's really, really beautiful. And the finishing is very, very neat. This is what you can just stay at home and do by yourself without the sewing machine. So you don't need to say, I don't have the sewing machine, that's why I'm not able to produce my purse. No, just go to bag and shoe materials shop. Get your materials, then produce your bag, put it out there on your social media platform, then sell it out for the world to buy, and then you start making money for yourself. So we've come to the end of today's tutorial on how to make Ankara purse. So do well to practice your work, and then keep following us on all our social media platforms displayed on the screen of this video. Stay blessed and stay productive. Don't forget, keep following us on all of our episodes every Sunday, same time, same station. Keep crafting, stay blessed, and stay productive.
African fashion isn't just clothing. It is a celebration of identity, a dance of tradition, and an embrace of individuality. Hello viewers, I'm Ceji'S. Welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S, the African fashion world, a world of diverse colors, rich texture, and captivating stories. Each stitch tells a tale of heritage, a celebration of diversity, and a nod to the modern. From the sweeping landscape to the rhythmic beat, the African fashion reflects the soul of the continent. Let the runway be your passport to a tapestry of elegance and authenticity.
Join me on this sectarian journey that transcends beyond borders and unites us in the universal language of style. Once again, welcome to ATN Craft Show with Ceji'S.